Hey YouTube, Saint Frank here. This week's episode of Hobby Talk, I want to talk about PSA. I usually do a video about PSA every time they do a price change, and they just did one. They opened the bulk level once again, but the price for bulk that they're opening at is $22 a card. So, what do we think about that? So what I think about that is that I think that's too high. I do know, just from me grading stuff, that they are probably completely through that huge backlog of orders they got before they shut things down back, early 2021. I believe they're completely through that, because I sent in some orders during the quarterly special, or not the quarterly, the national special, when they had it for $18 a card, and they're already starting to grade those. So they already said they weren't going to grade those until they worked through the backlog. So they don't have a backlog anymore to sit on, and I'm guessing they probably got a bunch of cards in for that national special. But I mean, if they're already grading mine, then they didn't get like gazillions like they did back when they had the really cheap grading and everybody was grading everything. Not everybody, but a lot of people were grading so many cards back during COVID. So I think here's another reason why I think you should definitely not send any cards at the $22 level. It's really not that much cheaper than the value level that they have now. It's at $30. So they're opening bulk for $22. It's really not that big of an incentive to send in for that price. And plus the fact that if just for a whole month they'd let people send in anything for $18 a card. So this is a really weird price point, I think. And I definitely am not going to be, I always say this, I shouldn't say definitely. I don't see myself sending in any cards at $22, because I sent in quite a few at $18 card, and I was basically picking my best cards to send in that I had left. I definitely am not going to send in ones that aren't as nice as those at a higher rate. So I think I'm pretty typical of a card grader. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that send in a lot of their good stuff that they've been waiting to send in, and they send it in at the $18 special. I mean, there's no reason to send them in at $22, unless it's the brand new stuff that just came out that people want to flip or something. But then again, the people that do that don't usually use bulk. So I really don't think that many people are going to send in cards at $22 a card. Thus, they're going to lower the price probably a pretty good amount for the net very soon, I would guess. Because PSA is geared up during all this boom of card grading. They've beefed things up where they're grading 1 million cards a month, and as they've been churning through the backlog. And they probably should have maybe slowed down going through the backlog a little bit, because now they're out and they don't have that many cards to grade, and people aren't sending in that many cards at the prices that they're asking. So there's going to be a lot of card graders that are not going to be real busy over at PSA. And obviously they're not, I really don't think they're getting millions of cards in a month now to build up a backlog. So the price undoubtedly is going to go down. And that's my prediction, is I'll say a month from now, PSA is going to open up a much lower price level for bulk. There's another weird thing about this, the $22 bulk orders that they just opened up. You had to have a minimum of 25 cards. So that's a minimum $1,000 order plus. Like what? $1,050 or something like that. So there's not a lot of people that want to spend $1,000 to in one order to grade cards. A lot of people just want to send in a handful. So they're going to get very few submissions at $22 a card on this new bulk level that they have. And this is actually cheaper than the bulk level was right before they shut things down. They had bumped the Ultra Modern Sports up to $25 per card. So people are not sending in as many cards when they're even less expensive to grade than they were back in the card grading boom. So I think this is really good overall, because that means it's going to be getting a lot cheaper to grade cards again, that's what everybody wants. Collectors want it because they don't want to spend a lot of money to grade their cards for their collection. People that flip stuff, they've kind of gotten away from that because it's just too expensive, and the card market's flooded, so those people have moved on to other things. So it should be returning back to what it was before all this COVID boom of card grading, which at some point, I mean, I remember grading Pokemon cards for $7.50 a card. That was wonderful. And that would be so awesome if they can get all the way back down to that. I don't think it'll ever get down that low, but I could see it getting down to $10 a card very soon. My prediction is that a year from now, I'll say 6 months from now, you'll be able to grade cards at $10 a card again. And they will get a healthy amount of cards in at that point. And here's another prediction, is when a month or so from now, when PSA lowers their bulk rate down to what I would guess would be probably $15 a card, it's going to crush these other grading companies. Probably many of them are not going to make it through that. The ones that have survived to this point, they're not going to survive that one. I mean, you'll still have SGC, of course, CGC, and you will definitely have Beckett. But man, outside of of course, PSA, those big four, I don't see a lot of people sending cards to any other like lower tier grading companies, especially when they cannot compete with these types of prices that PSA is going to be able to go down to. So it stinks if you spend a lot of money grading with these lower end companies, but a lot of people were saying, hey, it's a card grading boom right now, and if you're just trying to get some cheap grading, there are companies that can grade your cards cheaper than PSA, but those cards you can definitely see on the sales history, the non-PSA, especially the non-Big Four grading companies graded cards, you might as well be selling them raw. I mean, they really don't have much value over raw. I think HGA, with their color match, they might still be around, but I don't know, because their high graded cards do not compare anywhere in prices to like the bigger name card grading companies. So very interesting time in card grading. I think there's still a lot of people that want to get cards graded, but I think kudos to collectors for kind of holding their ground and not sending in a bunch of stuff, because it's definitely causing the price to come down, and come down quickly. So good job of not overspending. Clearly there's not a ton of people wasting a lot of money grading stuff right now. I send in a lot of stuff, but sometimes I'm not the brightest person. But I'm very happy with the cards I've gotten back, and I think I picked a lot better cards to grade this time around than when it was real cheap to grade cards. I'm getting some nice cards back, and I'll keep doing those videos. Stay tuned for PSA reveal videos, and we got some really cool orders that I sent out. I'm trying to branch into some new territory as far as grading. So, I mean, these are things for my personal collection. So Um, it's just things I want to get slabbed. I really like I like having my nice cards in my collection protected, and so that they don't incur further damage than what they've gotten. And it's fun to grade, you know, and it adds a little value to your collection, you know, especially if you get PSA 10 or BGS 10 or CG, you know, if you get 10s, that's where you've really improved the value of your collection. Anyway, I just wanted to throw out my thoughts on the bulk level opening up, and I think not many people are going to be using that, and that it will definitely be dropping down soon. And my prediction will be 1 month from now, they will change that price to $15 per card. That's my 1 month prediction. But you know how good I am at predictions. So, you know, don't go off of what I say. Anyway, the important thing, guys, is what do you guys think? Put down in the comments. I mean, this is hobby talk. So, it's a discussion with you, the viewer. So, put down in the comments. Do you think the $22 bulk grading fee is a good price? What do you think of the 25 card minimum to send in? Do you guys think that PSA is going to get flooded with cards at that price point? You know, tell me your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos later.